We know that as we get older, we tend to start getting a little bit slower. In today's video, we're going to go through a couple of things to try help you slow down the slowdown, essentially, and really give you some amazing tips as to help your running as you get older. Okay, so the number one reason that you slow down as you're getting older is that you are losing strength. You're losing lean muscle mass as you're getting older, and that's the main reason why you're slowing down. This process essentially starts as early as your 30s. And it's quite a natural decline, and it's very linear. Slow losses of strength through your 30s and your 40s, and then when you get to 50, it actually becomes quite exponential. And that loss of strength, that loss of lean muscle mass, means that you don't have the muscles and the fibers to pull together anymore that allow you to get stronger and faster, and that's why we'll end up slowing down. The first aspect when we're losing strength as we get older. So once we're in our 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond, the first thing that tends to go is your neuromuscular connection, all right? So it's the connection from your brain to each muscle fiber. And you'll know that as you get older, very often it's your dexterity goes, or there's movement in your feet, and that's why older people have a higher risk of falling. It's because that neuromuscular connection, the pathway that message goes from your brain to your muscles, becomes a little bit more or less effective over time. And so from a strength perspective, that's one of the aspects that causes you to lose strength, because we don't have enough of those sort of message carriers that get to each muscle fiber. So your muscles are recruiting less fibers with every movement that you're taking. So one of the big aspects that this affects is coordination. And that's, as I mentioned, around the risk of falling increases. But it affects your running. So if you are losing the ability to have coordination, that's going to affect your running gait, as an example. It's going to affect your range of motion. And of course, it's going to affect strength. And so strength training becomes so important, because when we work on some strength training, that allows us and those neuromuscular connections to get fired up again. You can never really rectify or regenerate nerves, but we can work on making the firing action, the message from the brain to the muscle fibers, get that much faster again. And we can do that with different types of strength training. So this is why strength training becomes so important again, from a neuromuscular point of view, from a risk of falling, from loss of lean muscle mass, and then obviously incorporated under the umbrella of strength training is mobility and flexibility, because we do lose that range of motion. Our muscles become a lot less sort of pliable. Your ligaments also get a lot less lax, and so we lose range of motion. And so it's important that we incorporate some form of mobility and flexibility within our strength training regime as well.
Now that you've heard why you get slower as you get older, let's unpack a little bit how we can reduce the impact and hopefully slow down that process of slowing down. One of the key things when it comes to getting older is really maintaining consistency. One of the muscles Shona didn't speak about is the heart. And people often forget that the heart is a muscle. And as we get older, our maximum heart rate starts to decline. The implications of your maximum heart rate coming down mean that all our submaximal heart rates are also going to come down. And in short, it means that the body's ability to pump blood around to get to the working muscles will slowly become compromised. Because the heart is a muscle, if we keep it working and if we keep stressing it in the right way, we can really reduce the fall of maximum heart rate. And this is where, again, it becomes so key that as we age, that our training really is consistent and that we do all the right things to allow us to keep training and training consistently. Because if we do that, that change or drop off in maximum heart rate is much slower. And it's one of the reasons why age-related formulas do not work in people that maintain a high level of activity across the duration of their lives. Now, if we're not doing all the right things most of the time, doing the strength training, running at the right pace, using our walk breaks, and we allow injuries to creep in that keep us out for a long period of time, you will notice that you have these inflection points where there's just these drops in heart rate. And so the idea really to combat that is to maintain consistency all the time, and like any muscle in your body, make sure that we're using the heart in the right way, meaning that we need to stress it a lot at times, high intensity workouts, meaning that we have to develop the aerobic component and the elasticity with the long, slow runs and easy runs. Let me pass you back to Shona now so she can talk you through strength training.
Thanks, Linz. Yes, so strength training, and I mentioned around why this is so important. So it really is. And this loss of lean muscle mass, this natural process of aging, it happens naturally. There's not much we can do to stop that. The one thing we can do, though, is strength training. The science is very clear that if you are able to do 3 strength sessions a week, you can actually start reversing these natural effects of aging. We at Coach Parry are realists, all right? We know that that's not always possible, and so we always like to say, 3 ideally, but 2 is better than 1, and 1 is definitely better than none. And so if you are managing to get in 2 to 3 strength sessions a week, you really are going to either be reversing these effects of aging, so reversing that loss of lean muscle mass, or at the very least, delaying that inevitable. So instead of having this really steep decline or exaggerated or dramatic kind of decline, you're going to be delaying it, and so improving and sort of allowing your performance not to get declined or delayed as much as well. In terms of what we want to do in that strength training, in particular, we want to be doing some form of resistance training. Okay, and when I say resistance, essentially what I mean is being able to move your body against a form of resistance. That may be body weight training, especially initially it is going to be body weight training. Then you can start loading some aspects there. So loading with some bands, loading with some weights, but we have to load and add a resistance on there, because otherwise we're never going to build a lean muscle mass. When we do strength, so when you're pushing your body against the resistance, the muscle fibers that are there actually tear and break. There's these tiny little microfiber tears that happen, and then when we rest and recover, what happens from there is that those muscle fibers come back even stronger, and that's how we build lean muscle mass. And so that's really key, to have that resistance training aspect. Also, as we're getting older, there is a little bit of a demise or decline on your bone strength, and the resistance training does wonders for making sure that we're keeping our bones nice and strong. Bone strength really becomes in question as we get older, and we really want to look after our bones. If we've got a higher risk of falling, we want to make sure that our bones are strong enough that if something like that happens, we are able to sustain it. And so obviously, there's some nutritional aspects that you can look at, but strength training, again, and this resistance training forms such an important part of looking after your bones. And if you place a load on the bones, that resistance on the bones in some sort of multi-directional force, what that does is the bones respond to that, and that's how they get a little bit stronger. You're never going to get back to the bone mineral density that you were in your 20s and your 30s, but again, the goal of this is to just delay that inevitable decline. And the earlier you start doing strength training, the better. Because we want to, as you're doing strength training, we get to a certain point where that decline is going to start. And if you've done strength training long before someone else, you are going to be at a way better point before that decline starts happening. So it is never too late to start strength training. If you feel like it is too late, definitely start tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget that we've created a free strength training plan, and you can click on the link to get access to that now.